Hi, it's WePlay TV, and we're here to talk with Mitch McBride. I'm Albina. Mitch, how are you today?
I'm very good. I'm having a good day.
How's your mood?
Very good. I think the venue certainly sets a different mood. I mean, it's beautiful in here across the whole WePlay event.
Let's discuss your career. Tell us about the moment when you decide to become a commentator. Is there any moment? Were there any moments?
Well, I'll tell you, this is actually a really special event for me because I used to play Counter-Strike at some local LANs in Ireland, and I went to one with my team, but my team pulled out at the last minute. So I told them I'd help them. I was already traveling to it, so I said I will help with cabling or something. And they told me they needed a commentator. So I said, oh, okay, I'll try it. And the person that they already had was Dinko, who I'm working with here. And it's actually our first LAN working together since then. It's 2 years ago almost at this point. And I went in just to do it for fun, but he taught me a lot. And afterwards, he helped me with some jobs that he had moved on from. He was getting too big for, so he gave them to me and mentored me through, him and another Irish guy called Dean. And yeah, it was never really a decision. I was in university at the time, and I was just planning to go through with my degree, but it just picked up thanks to these guys helping me out and a couple of good breaks.
So this was a sudden decision for you?
Yeah, it was never a plan to do. I just thought it was fun, wanted to do it, and then got busier and busier, and then I couldn't do university anymore because I was going away too much.
Do you plan to return?
Yeah, so I'm actually talking with them because even though esports is very good, it's always good to have a backup plan just in case. So I will be doing it online. Be finishing my degree with the university from while I'm traveling, hopefully, but it will take many years.
I also know that you recently got your license driver license.
Yeah, in Ireland. It took 3 tries to get there, but eventually I made it. I was never too good at tests. So
how your friends reacted on this?
You know, in Ireland we react very differently. We support each other in a different way. So they're all saying that they're staying away from the roads now that I'm going to be on.
I also saw a tweet when one of your friend posted a gift with plastic.
Yes, Amory, he's a producer we work with. Yeah, a guy covered in mattresses to keep me safe walking down the road. They're all very supportive. They're happy I'm driving.
He thinks that you're a bad driver?
Yeah, he thinks I'm a dangerous driver, definitely.
How do you improve yourself as a commentator? Maybe you are watching guides or training some tongue twisters. Yeah,
so as a commentator, I think getting words out was never too much of an issue for me. If you ask anyone, I don't know if Banks has told you, but I talk a lot. But my issue was choosing when to talk, when to do certain things. So we learn it a couple of different ways. I think by looking at other commentators, the top level, the tier 1 events, listening to what they're saying, when they're saying it, what they're talking about. We also talk to each other. So sometimes, for example, Dinko might watch what I'm doing and he would tell me maybe try to do this differently or something like that.
Like some advices, yes?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody likes different things, and I think there's a lot of commentators out there that have very different styles. And some people like them, some people hate them. So you can't always take criticism on board just because somebody said something bad about it. But it's about finding what you would like to hear. Like if you're watching back your commentary and you're thinking, I didn't really like this, then you should change it so that you like it. And then if other people like it as well, that's good. The other thing is that I don't just work in Counter-Strike, I work in 8 different games. So I've picked up a lot from the people I've worked with. I must have worked with 50 or more commentators. So you learn different things from each person and how they like to do things that makes you improve over time.
Tell us about the difference between commenting in Overwatch and CSGO.
Sure, yeah. Well, Overwatch is a completely different challenge. I haven't mastered it or nowhere near it, but it's a really fun one for me because it's completely different. In Counter-Strike, there's a lot of analysis. There's a lot of building up to moments, looking at how things are set up, and waiting for the fight. In a round that could be 2 minutes long, you could wait 1 minute and 30 seconds with maybe one person dying. One fight. In Overwatch, that's not the case. You're talking about 40 seconds and there's a fight, a big fight. You've got to talk about the fight, and before you can even fully explain what happened, there's another fight happening with everybody involved, and it's crazy. It definitely teaches you a lot about how to approach. The thing I learned the most from Overwatch was how to approach gaps. So giving your commentator room to talk by themselves, something I'm still working on. but you have to know when. The most important part about commentary isn't necessarily knowing when to talk, it's when not to talk. And when to let this guy who's been observing and watching what's happening explain what he saw. And then, like, I think that's one thing that sets apart the top level commentators from some of the lower, is that they respect each other and they know how to work with each other more so than being the best in themselves as well. They have the duo down, so to speak.
Okay. Speaking of your communication with your colleagues, you worked with James, thanks. You worked with Dinko. How is the communication between you?
It's really good. So sometimes you meet people in life that you just instantly click with. You get on and everything is okay. With Dinko, with James, I think we have a very good relationship. When we first met, James was very friendly to us. He taught us a lot. He mentors us, helps us out in situations where we're maybe not sure what to do, because he works at a higher level than us. And I wouldn't be who I am today if he didn't help the way he did. For myself and Dinko, because he helped me start, I obviously have looked up to him since we began. But we were very good friends as well through the whole process. We would play games together. We would just sit and talk. Sometimes I would be in the hotel room abroad, and he would say, "Do you have a few minutes?" And he would call me, and we would be on the phone for 2 or 3 hours when I'm trying to go and get dinner, but I have to wait until we finish talking and just chatting about anything. I think being friends is the most important part about it, because then you're not harsh with each other. You never feel like you're competing or you're trying to get on the camera more, talk more. It's like you're happy to just work together, and you enjoy the work, which I think really translates when you're on the camera.
You told that James is like a mentor for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that commentator should be an example for the players, the fans, the viewers?
I think it's a slippery slope. I mean, commentators and on-air personalities are humans at the end of the day, and I think idolizing people or looking up to them is dangerous, because everybody has their flaws. It's important that they're welcoming. I think that this industry is very, very new, and we want to make sure that we don't turn into what others have, these cutthroat industries. Now, there's obviously competition. Myself and Dinko are friends, but sometimes we both want to work an event and there's only room for one of us. It happens. But it's important to be friendly and understand that, yes, maybe they get opportunities or maybe I get opportunities that someone else doesn't, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. As long as we can all get on well, as long as we can all be welcoming and never aggressive, you know? But in general, the other industries that have been around for hundreds of years are much more, they're not as welcoming. Like James, he met us for the first time, like I said. He was helpful in every way. Any question we had about the industry, about events we had never worked before, he was answering like that, giving us advice, how to approach it, how to do this and that. And without that, I think the industry would be completely different and far worse for it.
And speaking of an example for fans and also, do you think that appearance is the key for the commentator? Like suits, uniform?
I think it depends. Some events, for example, we've worn just t-shirts on, nice t-shirts, but t-shirts still. It depends on the level of the event and the organizer, what they want. For example, here, they asked us, do we want suits? Of course we do. I love suits.
Do you like it?
I love them. It's beautiful. They fit perfectly. They're really nice. But some events, they want to be casual and they want to wear t-shirts and that sort of stuff. I think fashion is important for some. For me, in the beginning, it wasn't. That definitely showed. I've learned a little bit as we go along to maybe wear some nicer clothes. But if you're doing your job and you're acting professional, you know what you're talking about, you're a good commentator, if you're on the analyst desk, if you're making good points, to a certain extent, I think fashion doesn't matter. At the same time, if you're coming to an event where everyone is wearing suits like this, and you're going to wear a t-shirt and shorts or something, obviously you can't do that. You have to make sure everyone's on the same rough level in that sense.
And speaking of setting, do you like the setting of Forge of Masters tournament?
Yes, it's really nice. First of all, not even in the building, because people at home will obviously see the stage, which is amazing. They will see back here, the green room maybe from pictures we put up, and it's beautiful. But even outside, this big like there's all these buildings, they're beautifully decorated, there's music just playing in the street. I've never seen that before. It's like Disneyland. It's beautiful. Now, and the fact that I think one thing that WePlay have done that I've said for a long time, a lot of people, no, not just me, I've said for a long time, is that CSGO events can be boring. Everybody wants to look at the same format. They will do, okay, the commentators do this, then we go to stage, then we do player interviews, then we do this. We're conductors on a train.
Yeah.
You know, the players are playing inside a train. There's actual train tracks. Like, it's really, really well themed. And that's so interesting. For us, working it is so much more fun. We're making jokes all the time. James is shouting choo-choo and all this when we're getting into the game. And it's really, it brings fun to it. And I don't think Counter-Strike events, if there's, look at how many there are on. Even at the moment, we have our game going on the stage. There's maybe 5 other games happening online at the moment. You need to stand out. You need to be different than another tournament organizer. And if, at the moment, I think the way that organizers are looking at it, other than WePlay, is we need more money, bigger prize pool. And yeah, okay, bigger prize pool, no one's going to argue with more money, but doing something like this, it makes it different for everybody, and it makes it stand out that you will always remember, if you were playing at a WePlay or working at a WePlay, like this, you will remember, but if you're maybe working or playing at a DreamHack, they will all blend into one. You know, you won't be able to remember which one was which.
So do you prefer show tournaments or serious events?
A good combination of both. I think, for example, events like the Major, they have to be serious. They can have fun in them, but mostly serious, because that's what it is. It's the biggest event. But I think to work, it's more fun to work these kind of events where you're relaxing, you're making jokes, everyone's getting along and just having a bit of fun. I think this is, it's unique and definitely for the better. I'd love to see more organizers do stuff like this.
You mentioned Major. What is your goal in your career? Maybe commenting a Major?
Yeah, so a lot of people have the goal of commentating a Major in CSGO specifically. Because I work in so many games, it's, look, I don't want to belittle it. I would love, if I ever at some point in 5-10 years end up working a Major, that would be amazing. But for me, I don't see it in my immediate future, in the next 2-3 years, 5 years. My goal is just to keep working in esports, working with the people I like, and honestly having fun, because the job is a lot of fun. Whether it's working with people you like, entertaining people out there, just getting to see the competition between different teams. But just to make it as sustainable for the future as possible, and hopefully to have positive impact on esports in general from a tournament standpoint, when it comes down to how they're run and the quality that's given to staff and players and all that sort of stuff. Just to leave the industry better than I came into it, I suppose, is the best way to put it.
You're also a gamer, a streamer. Yes.
Yeah.
Can you pick your favorite one game or the genre?
I guess I'd have to say CSGO, or all the fans will kill me. But no, I think for me, I've never. Well, Halo. Halo was my favorite game as a kid. I love it so much. It's coming to PC next month.
So you're a PC gamer, yes?
Absolutely, yeah, exclusively. I used to play on console when Halo was out. I moved to PC because of Counter-Strike on a laptop. I remember when I was like 14 or 15, and CSGO changed my life. I love the game. I mean, it's given me a career. It's amazing. But Halo will always have a special place in my heart from when I think I was 4 years old when I first played it. And it's shaped my childhood ever since.
That's great. And what about other activities, like in your free time? Maybe you're watching movies or TV shows.
Well, I used to play sports quite a bit, although it doesn't show anymore. I gave them up for esports. I used to play American football, which I loved. I really missed. But for me, I also watch a lot of movies. I set a goal because I heard Tom Cruise when I was a kid saying this, and I thought, I'm going to do that. He watched one movie every day. I tried to do that because I love, more from a cinematic perspective, how they frame things. And I think you can learn little bits from it in terms of commentary, how things are actually framed. Like, there's so much behind the scenes that happens there. Our cameramen are experts at how to make us look good, which is a hard task. You know, how to make these transitions happen. And it definitely feeds a lot into my professional life, looking at movies and then how we present ourselves when we're on the screen as well.
And what is your favorite movie?
Oh, it's What a Wonderful Life, I think. It's either What or It's a Wonderful Life. It's a black and white movie we watched when I was a little kid in school, about a man learning the value of family, and because he works and he only cares about money, and then he learns that family, that other people, that kindness and stuff are more important than just success. And I think that was it's a struggle that a lot of people have in esports in particular, because you come in and there's money for players, for whoever it may be, that there's a lot of money there, and sometimes you can forget where you came from and what made you go down this path in the first place.
And what about your family and friends? Do you have?
Yeah, so I have a little brother who's 3 years old and a little sister who's 6, and I actually missed my brother's birthday. It was just yesterday they had the party to come here, and I missed a lot of stuff for work. My best friend's 21st birthday, I was away for that, and esports in that sense, it's amazing, but it's a lot. You're always working, you're always doing something, and I think esports has impacted my family, it's impacted my friendships, my relationship a bit, but I've been really lucky with the people I've grown up with, the people I've been around and have around me, that they all really appreciate what I'm doing. They understand that it's not the kind of thing I can just take a weekend off or miss an event, and that I have to go to as much as I can, because it's hard to make it in esports. To keep relevant, I suppose, is always going to be a stress. And within I don't know if I would survive in the industry if I didn't have the support group that I have.
So you told that you are friends with James and Dinko, etc.
Yeah.
Do you have a nickname?
Just Mitch. Just
Mitch.
James has a lot of names he likes to call me, but they're all in good friendly fun, I suppose. Like, so Irish people and English as well have a very unique way of treating each other when we're friends. We don't compliment each other. We don't say nice things. We only insult. It's for some reason it's how our culture developed. And but yeah, James, we've all gotten on so well from the get-go. But it's always funny when we go to events and people maybe don't talk to us as much, but they're in the background, they're seeing us, how we interact with each other, and they think we hate each other. But then we will hang out afterwards and go get drinks and this sort of stuff. So it's but yeah, no, I've just Mitch has been my nickname, thankfully.
I want to ask you some interesting but controversial question. You recently had an interview with James, and there was a funny case. Do you remember it?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I want to hear your version.
Yeah, so James is a big man, right? He's a very strong, very tall person, and I assume you're talking about in Copenhagen, at Copenhagen Games. Yeah, we were on the desk, and we're with a guy called War Clown, and I'm probably the wild card of our group. I'm a little bit crazy, and War Clown it was described to me as the Norwegian version of myself. So we had a lot of fun annoying James throughout the whole event, and at the very end, we were closing out. We were ready to say goodbye. The event was over. Finals was over. And I felt James just put his hand on my face, and I genuinely thought, I'm going to die, like, because we'd annoyed him so much that he's going to kill me right now on camera. It's like, this is how I go. Okay, cool. And yeah, then he kissed me, and I was so shocked. I was so blown back by what was happening. War Clown just left. He was gone. No, he went to walk away and then fell over from laughing and was just rolling on the floor for like 5 minutes afterwards. I was just in shock, and eventually the producers just cut away. They were just like, I don't know. It surprised everybody, but it was that's what I'm saying about myself and James. We have a very interesting relationship, and that from the outside it's like we hate each other, but really we have a lot of love together.
And speaking of about your relationships again, we know that you have a nickname between your colleagues and you. It's about, you know.
James, you've been speaking to James, I presume. Yeah, he told you. Yeah, they like. I would like to point out, I'm sitting down so we can't prove it, but I'm perfectly average height, 5'7".
Yeah.
It's acceptable. It's acceptable. But the guys like to call me Frodo, after the obviously famous Hobbit. And there's two ways I can look at it. It's either because Frodo was a hero that sacrificed everything for his friends, that was put good over everything else in the world and ended up destroying all evil. Or it's that they think I'm short. So I like to believe the first one, but I think it's the second. And actually, when I was in Switzerland for an event, independently, all of the production started calling me that. James, they hadn't talked to anyone that called me Frodo. They just decided themselves as well. And so at this event, it was a Comic-Con. So they made out of this black material that we had in the background, they cut it to make it into a cape. And I went and bought, they had a sword there, Frodo's sword, Sting. I went and bought that, and so was walking around dressed up as Frodo at the event. Luckily, James
like
wasn't
a cosplayer,
there.
yes?
Exactly, like a cosplayer, exactly. But it took very little material to turn me into Frodo, which was distressing almost.
So you're okay with it, yes?
Yeah. I mean, it's all good fun. Like we're.
If you were a Frodo, I don't know, like a character Frodo.
Yeah.
What will you do with the ring?
I mean, I don't like exercise, so I probably wouldn't have went all the way to the mountain. I probably would have asked Gandalf for the eagles and just flown there and thrown it in, or give it to someone else to deal
Smart.
with. Yeah.
Decision.
Or use it to just be invisible all the time and run away, but it's it's a pretty bad situation.
Yeah. I guess we had a very situated interview, and I want to thank you for the answers. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
And I guess that's okay. That's all.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
No problem.